Breaking news just now. Zedit in YouTube chat just shouted this out, and I'm glad that they did because I did not see this. EA is canceling the Black Panther game, and they are closing Cliffhanger Games completely. Ooh. This is crazy. In an email sent to staff from EA Entertainment President Laura Miele said that these changes, alongside other recent cancellations and layoffs, are being done to sharpen our focus and put our creative energy behind the most significant growth opportunities. Star Wars. That's basically what that is. In addition to closing Cliffhanger Games and canceling Black Panther, EA is also laying off some individuals on both mobile and central teams. When asked about the exact number of employees and individuals impacted, they declined to comment. IGN understands that the total number of affected individuals in this wave is less than the roughly 300 cut last month across Respawn and EA's fan care teams, but cannot confirm by how much. Okay. EA is endeavoring to place affected individuals in other roles across the company, which may or may not happen. To that end, I don't know. The email continues, the company is focusing on a small handful of franchises going forward: Battlefield, The Sims, Skate, and Apex. And I mean, they're doing Star Wars stuff. Miele also reassures EA will continue to invest in its Iron Man game at Motive and third Star Wars Jedi game, as well as maintain its mobile business despite cuts, while BioWare works on the next Mass Effect game as well. Additionally, last year, CEO Andrew Wilson announced the company would be moving away from development of future licensed IP that we do not believe will be successful in our changing industry. This is the other thing, is that some of the, I think it was the Insomniac leaks about Wolverine suggested that they have to pay about 30% of each copy to the licensee. So if they do a Black Panther game, they have to spend, like they sell, just to make the math easy, a $60 game, $20 of that immediately off the top has to go to Marvel. Woof. Starts to make sense, because then you're like, oh, you're charging full price. Well, they're basically getting 66% of whatever the full price is. So they're actually effectively charging a budgetary price in terms of what money they're taking in, which is why you start to see them get so greedy with some of these games on microtransactions, on other stuff. Same thing with like the old monetization models on Battlefront 2, where just to make ends meet with how expensive Battlefront 2 was to develop, they had to try to get really, really clever with how they monetized it and end up ruining the game in the process. The email doesn't mention EA Sports, but this is due to Miele running EA Entertainment while EA Sports is a separate division. Okay. Notably, EA and Marvel's agreement for Black Panther was part of a 3-game deal that included Iron Man and a third unannounced title. Little has been shown of the Black Panther game so far since its announcement in 2023. We do know from a job listing that it was supposed to be a single-player action-adventure open-world game. Black Panther was being developed by the newly formed, now closed, Cliffhanger Games, which was formed in 2023 with some former devs of Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, and was headed up by Kevin Stevens. No relation to yours truly. But you remember when they canceled and shut down Monolith? It was kind of like insane. What's happening? But they shut it down because a lot of the talent that made that game or that company so successful had left to go form Cliffhanger Games. And Cliffhanger Games is now shut down and they're moving away. That's wild. Imagine leaving your beloved and highly lauded studio to found a new studio, and then you leave to found a different studio, and that gets shut down as well. It's just crazy. I mean, what were they seeing with the Black Panther game that made them think it wasn't going to work out? Like, maybe these companies, they always do internal reviews. Maybe what they were doing is they did like an internal review, because notably we just heard that happened with Fair Games, where they did like a play test and the reactions were received, and then Jade Raymond all of a sudden is leaving the company very suddenly, and it kind of sounds like maybe she was fired or welcomed to retire or whatever after the feedback was so bad. So maybe they did something similar with the Black Panther game, where they held previews or they did like mock reviews or something, and the feedback was just not very good, and so they're like, we could spend another 2 years working on it to try and make it better. But even then, like, it's a licensed game. That's the thing with these licensed games, is when they have to pay a royalty to a Marvel or a Disney or whoever. If it was going to take 3 million units to be profitable before, Having a license deal means that now you have to sell 5 million, which is way harder. Or if you needed 5, now you have to do 8. Or if you needed 8, now you have to do 12. You know, it gets significantly harder to be profitable once you have those like royalty deals and those licensing deals, and they just don't make sense at some point. And that's the thing when you look at it from a business perspective, is even if the Black Panther game looked good, which maybe it didn't. I mean, we don't know. Maybe it looked terrible. Who knows? But even if it looked pretty good, if they're looking at it and they're like, we think this will sell 5 million copies in a year, but because of the licensing deal, that means we will not be profitable because we need 8 million to break even. Okay, so we're just going to lose money. Let's just cancel it, move on. It's cutthroat. It's a rough decision to make. But if you know we cancel it now, we lose 100 million, 150 million, or we keep developing it, release it, even then we almost certainly will not make money and we'll lose 180 million or 200 million. Then it starts to make sense why it doesn't, like, these decisions get made where it just, the math didn't math. It probably should never have been greenlit if the standards were that high, in my opinion, but there you go. Yeah, it's just, it's absolutely crazy. Again, like a lot of the talent and former devs from Shadow Mortar, Shadow of War, and all those games, a lot of those guys went to form this studio. And then, I mean, it's just gone nowhere. They've worked on it for 2 years and now they're canceling it. Absolutely wild, but that's just where we are. What a waste of time and money, dude. What a waste. But now it's gone. We're never going to see it. We'll see where Kevin Stevens and those guys end up landing. Who knows? I'm sure there's a lot of devs that would be happy to see it. Shortster says, always sad to see layoffs, but I would not be surprised if they're going to do a lot of reorganizing to make room for a team to come in and speedrun Star Wars Battlefront 3 since the resurgence. We're going to talk about this more in a minute. I'm going to do a dedicated segment on the Battlefront 2 stuff because I think a lot of people, and I'm saying this as somebody who would like to see another Battlefront, I think if you think that they're doing this to reform and make room for that, you're kind of kidding yourself. Like, yeah, I think Papa is on to where I'm going with this. If you think Battlefront 3 would be anything like current Battlefront 2 in setup and everything, it would not. Okay, but we'll talk about that next. But all that being said, yeah, breaking news, EA is canceling the Black Panther game and they are shutting down Cliffhanger Games only a couple of years after it was founded. And now, who knows what the future holds, but I mean, EA is just refocusing and they're trying to put their eggs in the baskets that they think are actually going to make it home. And in this case, it was not Cliffhanger Games. I think they didn't think it was going to perform where it needed to be to go and pop off and make good money. He took my thing. Red